Hi, this is Elizabeth, one of the co-hosts of Beauties and Headcanons. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Julianne Condia, host of Rewritten, here on Public House Media. Thank you so much for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media. Once you are done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Rewritten, where we will talk about you having limitless potential and can rewrite your story at any time. No matter your background, your past, or current situation, you can have the type of life you crave. A new show comes out every single Monday. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes so you never miss an episode of Rewritten. Thanks again for checking out the following broadcast on Public House Media.
Welcome to the C. Jane Sell podcast,
a relatable sales podcast for your weekly dose of sanity. I'm your host, Chelsea Dupre.
and I'm your host, Lee Nevis.
Welcome to C. Jane Sell, everybody.
Welcome. We are coming to you live from the interior of my car.
Look, we're ladies and we're busy ladies, and sometimes you gotta pod in the car.
Yeah, you gotta meet. Like, look, I'll be here at this time.
This
you
is
gotta
my
work.
lunch break. Get here. Let's do it.
Let's pod. Let's get the day rolling.
Yeah.
So we're gonna make this quick and short so that we don't die of heat stroke, and so that you can listen to our awesome interview that we have for you today. So yeah.
So not only does C. Jane sell, but C. Jane eats ice cream.
C. Jane eats lots of ice cream.
We love ice cream.
Yes, and we are so excited because today on the pod,
Yep.
we have the owner of, drumroll please, Liege and Dairy, Andrew Llewellyn.
Yeah.
We are very excited that we got to interview him.
Yes, and we interview him in the factory, the OG of the legendary locations. So you're going to hear background noise. I'm sorry, but we need to be in the place where the magic happens.
We wanted to smell the ice cream as we did the interview.
And we did.
We did.
And the waffles that they make on the spot with their sugar pearls.
Oh my gosh, they're so good.
Here, this episode is a sugar pearl for you.
Wow, that's a really good
I know.
analogy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
So smart.
Yay. So yeah, but we're excited to give you this interview. Hey, before we start our interview, Chelsea, what's been going on with you in your work life this week?
OMG. Okay, I'm going to be just a little bit real with everybody.
Be as real.
Anxiety is a thing. And so occasionally I have to take some anxiety helpers. It's
Right.
a prescription from my doctor. It is not Xanax, unfortunately, but
She is prescribed.
I am prescribed, so just know I'm not being illegal.
Right.
So it's been stressful. Sales is stressful. It takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, and at night my brain just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling. And so if I need a little helper to help me go to sleep, then so be it. So I've had some stressful nights, but you know what? We worked through it, and I have submitted enough business and sold enough business and written up by hand enough business to qualify for my third President's Club. Ding, 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 ding. So the restless nights were worth it, and now we just have to get through audits, which should not be a problem. So as soon as those are passed, then I will be on an official list, and
Girl, I'm stoked for you.
I know, it's a big deal.
I'm really excited.
It's a big deal.
I'm proud of you.
So, barring everything goes smooth and no one cancels, I'm in it to win it.
Good job.
So, don't be ashamed if you got anxiety. It's a thing.
It is a thing, and you shouldn't be ashamed of it.
Yeah, so I'm sharing that. I want everyone to relate. It's a thing.
It is a thing.
So,
Good job. Good for you. Well, I'm happy for you.
thank you.
And I'm sure that feels really good and nice. So, whoops, I just got an email. Sorry, everyone. Yay. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll get right to it.
Yeah. So, there's my good news for the day. Just don't be afraid of having an insecurity of anxiety. Everybody has them. And just keep working hard, people.
Heck yeah.
It'll be worth it.
Keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on. Eat yourself some ice cream.
Yes. Oh, that's a good segue.
Yeah, so here we go. Without further ado,
our interview with...
Bye. Welcome to another episode of See Jane Sell. Today is a very special pod day for me. There's few things in this world that bring a tear to my eye, and good ice cream is one of them. So, who knows, instead of a bourbon trail in Louisville, we'll start an ice cream trail, and it's starting with the owner of legendary
ice cream.
Legendary ice
cream.
It's legendary because she's like Lee because it's legendary.
You want to know the story behind the name?
Please.
Absolutely.
Okay. Amy, my fiance, said name the place Legendary, and I was like, no, you can't do that. Like, what if we suck? Like, there's no coming back from it. Then we're the legendary shitty ice cream shop forever. And so she's like, well, name it Legendary, like dairy, like the cow. And I'm like, okay, like, cool. So I look up the hashtag, look up the webpage. It's a breast milk pump. And I'm like, we can't share that hashtag. Like, and so, okay. And so we call her brother. We're like, here's where we are. And in like 2 seconds, he's like, well, you're doing Liege waffles, so why don't you just do Legendary?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, that's the name.
Freaking so smart.
Yeah.
I love it.
And we had spent like months on the name, and then those two figured it out in like 6 seconds.
Well, I can tell you from like personal experience, I'm like, there's this place, they make Liege waffles and small batch ice cream, and it's called Legendary.
Yeah.
Legendary.
Yeah.
I don't know, but you get it.
She's like dad jokes all the time.
Love dad jokes.
Love it.
I've had to up my game around her.
Well, Laffy Taffy's where you should start.
Yeah,
They have the
for
best
sure.
dad jokes.
Puns and dad jokes, that gets her every time.
Oh, yeah. Nice. So taking it back to kind of like where you guys started and how you got your start, what was the idea behind making an ice cream shop here in Louisville, Kentucky?
That's a great question. Ice cream had kind of been like a family thing forever. Not making it, but just dad was like all the time was like, we're going to lunch, and then like we'd always have to go to the ice cream shop.
Right.
Or we'd go on vacation, and it's like, we got to go to the ice cream shop. So it was just kind of a natural fit. And there's like a lot of ice cream shops here in Louisville, and I was like, how are we going to be better than them? I knew we could beat everyone on product, but I didn't think it would be like a big enough difference to make people like want to come try us. So it's like, like when I was racing my bike in Europe, we'd stop in like cities like Bruges and Brussels and have the Liege waffle, like snack on the Liege waffle. And I was like, man, that thing was so good. Like, we should try it and, put the two together. And she made me a waffle one night, and it was just amazing together.
Yeah.
So, and then it turns out like it's one piece of equipment, it's one food item, and it's all the same toppings. So you really don't add that much to just a regular ice cream shop. And we also got to cut out a lot of like the other stuff ice cream shops do.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
To keep it really simple.
Yeah.
I love that.
Go for it.
I was gonna say, okay, so like for those of us who don't know, like, because I didn't know what a Liege waffle was. Like, what's like the difference between like a Liege waffle and just like a regular old waffle? Is it a Belgian waffle?
So there's like the Belgian waffle that you have for breakfast, like continental breakfast at the hotel. Like, that's a Belgian waffle. It's a batter base. That's kind of what people think of when they think of the Belgian waffle. The Liege waffle is a yeasted dough. It's kind of closer to like a dinner roll.
And you guys use sugar pearls, right?
We use Belgian pearl sugar. So we get Belgian pearl sugar imported from Belgium, because that's the right place to get it from.
Right.
And then we fold that into the dough, and that's what the dough's really good by itself, but then you add that sugar, and it's amazing.
Nice.
That's really
I know, because when I first came here, I was like, what on earth are we putting in my waffle? And then Chelsea was like, wait, it's the pearls.
Sometimes
the pearls
like
of wisdom.
sometimes I like to like, people are like, what are you putting in there? I'm like, oh, it's salt.
That's genius. Just wait for it, you'll love it. Absolutely.
Yeah, and they're like, what?
So funny. Get ready for it. So what do you do for the ice cream? Do you make that in-house? Where is that done?
All our ice cream is made here in Louisville using our recipe. We make it off-site, and it's just really good. Like,
it's
my
delicious.
jam.
Yeah.
It's absolutely bomb. And I'm kind of an ice cream snob, to be honest with you, because I I'll give a tiny side shout out. Well, actually, I won't name the name of the company because we're talking about Legendary. I used to live in LA for 5 years, and there's like a really like popular like artisan like ice cream shop there that's really famous. So I like that's my background. So when Chelsea was like,
was it like the opposite of Sugar and then Kill Sea Turtles? Was that their name?
Yes, literally.
Okay.
That was
all right. I know that
the
one.
name of them, and I was obsessed with them. So like coming back, I was like, I'm never gonna find a place like. You know,
see, I'm getting better at these
Sugar.
puns and dad
Yeah.
jokes.
I was never gonna find a place like that. And then when we came here, I was like, oh snap! Like,
Yeah.
your ice cream's bomb. So,
So good.
I was very thoroughly impressed.
We work really hard on it, and like
Yeah.
we're always like trying to come up with new flavors and source locally, like where it's practical.
I'm telling you.
You know,
That's
like
the
we
secret.
can't source like strawberries in January from
Absolutely.
you know, like down the street in Shelbyville, but like when they're in season, we can.
Yeah, definitely.
And we got really smart this year. Like last year, we missed peach season. And so we had like peach ice cream in like late August, September, but they were Kentucky peaches, so it was like cool. But like people are like, yo, peach season was back in June, like when Chick-fil-A was doing peach
Get off me.
milkshakes. Yeah. And it was like, oh, like that was, you know, like that's a learning curve for like entrepreneurship. Like, you know, we don't set trend. We don't set trend and we don't set price. And so like Baskin Robbins sets price. Starbucks, Chick-fil-A set trend. So we, you know, if we want to be on trend, we got to look and see what those guys are doing and do it. So what we did was while peaches were still in season, we were like, okay, this is what we need to make peach ice cream for next year. And so we're like, we're ice cream, so peaches are frozen already, so put it in the freezer for a year.
Yeah.
And then got it back out and made peach ice cream. And when everyone else, like it was June and no one else had peach ice cream, we had peach ice cream with Kentucky peaches.
Heck yes.
Yeah.
I love it.
Few people did the math and like those aren't in season yet. I was like, it's okay, we got to figure it out.
Just eat your ice cream
Let the
and hush.
professionals handle this.
yeah.
That's amazing. So how long have you all been open? And is this so currently we're at the Holiday Manor location, just
Yes.
so you all know where we are.
There's 2 locations.
There's 2 locations. But is this the first one or the second one?
This is the first one.
Okay.
The OG.
The OG. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And when did you all open?
We opened this one in April of 2018. April 11th, 2018.
Love it.
And yeah, it's just been rolling ever since. And then we opened the one in Middletown right after like Valentine's
You guys
Day.
like pick the best places because right next to Grasa Grama, which is fire, and then
Yeah.
right next to Havana Rumba, which is freaking fire.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
that's one of the reasons we came here was I know Kevin that owns it, and I knew he was doing that restaurant, and I called him and I was like, hey man, like will you just sit down, like have breakfast with me? I just want to know what you're gonna do, like,
Yeah.
because I know he does everything like real big, and I was like, I don't want him to do like a full blown like gelato program like out the front of the building because like it's something like, you know, no normal person would think to do that, but he would.
Right.
And like luckily I'm like in his head enough to like know that he would think about that.
Right.
Yeah.
So he was like, no, I'm not. He's like, we might do like a small like gelato cart. Like I'm still on the fence about it, but we're definitely gonna do like some desserts and stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. He's building a 250 seat restaurant next to me. Like,
Yeah. I can
duh.
tell you from
yeah.
personal experience, we saved the dessert. No offense to your friend. We saved the dessert for here, but we do buy a lot of food over there.
Well, what's great about having him as a neighbor, like, you know, you go there once and like you want the whole experience.
Yeah.
But like, not to knock on him, you only want $17 cannoli once in your life, and then you're like, I'm going to get the $4 ice cream scoop.
Yeah.
After.
I wish it was $4. I'm like, give me everything.
My order is more like 12 because I get that extra cookie butter. and
Yeah.
It's not
all the
uncommon to
stuff.
see people come in and get like a waffle sundae, and then as a drink they get a milkshake.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
I can see
yikes.
that.
Okay, I'm not
So
at that
good.
level yet, but maybe
Not-
I can build
I'm
my
not
way up.
confirming or denying my
Right.
level.
So because you obviously opened over a year ago, I guess from like concept to actually like storefront opening, how long did it take you all to put everything together?
Oh, we really pushed that one through way faster than we should have. We really kind of like committed to the idea, I want to say like late July 2017. And then so we had a store open in April 2018.
That's crazy.
That's very
Yeah.
crazy.
That's so
Yeah,
fast,
yeah.
but impressive.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm very impatient.
Yeah.
Like, when I think about it, like, let's go.
Let's do this now.
Ask any of the girls that work for me. They'll tell you, like, I don't know. This is bragging, but they say I'm pretty good to work for, but I am really impatient.
But I can tell you, though, again, as a customer, you guys have, like, Chick-fil-A employees. They're just, like, so happy. And they are so happy to tell you all your options.
it's
You
really
know they're
nice.
happy.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
nice. Like, my pleasure to serve you. I'm like, this is the Chick-fil-A
like
of ice cream.
the ones that want to work here and want to be here and like me, and they like Hannah, and they like the other kind of like the team leads. They do really well here. And the girls that are just here because, I say girls because like 95% of our employees are girls. Like, I think I have like, how many boys do we have, Hannah? 3? 2 now? I have 3 boys on staff.
That's so funny.
Yeah, and
They're at the Middletown store and things.
yeah, they are.
That's it.
I know. They're really good at scooping ice cream.
Yeah. They love it. The ones that are just here because like their parents are like, you need to go get a summer job. They don't last. Like, chew them up, spit them out. Because it's not an easy job. It's physical. It's like the hours are like long. The customers are generally pretty nice, but like still some people like they're not
still
quite
dealing with customers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you tell your employees? Like, how do you coach your employees to be kind to your customer? Because there are not a lot of people that can get their employees to be as happy, friendly, and willing to work and go above and beyond.
We kind of take, I don't know, this is a bad way to describe it, but we kind of take like a Machiavellian approach. Like, it's really not great management, but like if someone's not like engaging the customers and stuff like that, like, see you later.
Yeah.
We just don't have time for that around here.
Yeah.
If you like, I tell all the kids like too, I'm like, this is a transformational relationship. It's not transactional. So like, you come here, you work hard, you take care of the customers, that takes care of me. Like, what do you want outside of here? Like, I got a girl that wanted to go to film. She wants to go to film school, and she needed like some content for whatever, for film school or whatever. I was like, okay, well, come in. Jared, who you probably met at Middletown store, he's that heartthrob looking high school kid, and all the girls love Jared. And so he's going to school for film, already there. And I was like, okay, Abby, get with Jared, and you guys go make training videos, and then you'll have all this content that you can edit, and like
really
then you
smart.
can use it, for whatever you want. And I have a friend that's he's like a big editor in New York City. He's done like Pawn Stars. Like,
that's
last
cool.
time he was home, he was like working on like an ad for like Target. It's like, who are you?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on? And so he's like, I was like, hey, like, can you send her like 3 or 4 books that are like the most influential books you read on filmmaking? He's like, yeah, sure, no problem. And like sent her a couple books. We got another girl that she's like, like I don't know what I want to do with my life. Like, I know I want to have like a profession. I want to make a bunch of money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, why don't we get, like, if you work hard, I told her, I was like, come this winter, work hard, and we'll, I'll call some people that I know, and you can go spend a day with them. Like, I know a doctor. Like, go spend a day with a doctor. Like, see if you like being a doctor. Go to this guy that does sales. Like, whatever.
That's really smart, and I feel like that's so
I love that.
simple, but like, you have to know, like, your employees aren't, this isn't their career, this isn't their lifelong career. Like, this absolutely is like either a resume builder or like a life lesson builder kind of job, and to be aware of that and to actually take action upon that probably does make a big difference in how their attitude is when they come into work, because they're not like, I have to clock in, clock out. It's like, like, I know that I'm building to become someone. This is a part of it, and I'm going to go work and be nice to people.
Yeah, I mean, it is a lot of that. Like, like, you got 16-year-old girls that have never managed anyone, and they come to me and they're like, this person's not doing what I want. And I'm like, well, why aren't they doing what you want? What did you do about it? And they said, well, nothing. And I'm like, well, go tell the person they're doing it wrong. They're like, but I can't do that. They might be upset. And I'm like, do you want me upset at you, or do you want them upset at you? Which side do you want it from? And they're like, okay, I get it. And then they get more comfortable with it, and they see it's just, you're not doing that right. It's just communication. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we're kind of, we are taking we're kind of growing people.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, getting their confidence up and helping them out. That's huge.
Totally. We have a Kristen. She's started. She's 15 years old last year. She was one of the first employees. Hannah in there is one of the first employees. And the manager that I had at the time stuck her in the kitchen and was like, "You're too short to scoop." And she was just doing dishes her first 2 weeks, and I'm like, this girl needs to be out here. She's way too intelligent and smart to just be back here in the kitchen because she's too short. And I was like, here's a scooper. I'm like, I don't know how to make this work because of how short you are, but I'm sure you'll figure it out. And she has. She she can do it.
So funny.
And people figure out a way if they want to.
Yeah, that's amazing. So before this, is this your first business you've ever started, or are you a serial entrepreneur?
This is the first I don't know. It's kind of it's weird, we've done other things. I'd always run around the neighborhood knocking on the neighbors' doors, what can I do for you to give me money, or what can I do for $20 right now?
So funny.
I
those
sell
sorts
clay figurines.
yeah.
Oh, we've all been there.
Yeah. In the summers, when I was in college and stuff, we had my best friend and I had a little lawn company, and his mom had all these properties, and so we did that for her, and then we did some other things for some other people, and this is the first real we have a payroll company, and we have a bookkeeper and things like that. It's not just I think I made this much this year.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So do you mind if we ask how old you are?
I just turned 29.
Okay.
Freaking dope.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
That this is your first real official, and it's kind of been really successful.
Yeah. What's your goal? Are you wanting a franchise? What's your strategy?
We'll see. We're just right now I'm just trying to get the model really buttoned up.
Absolutely.
Before we decide where we're going next. We're not going to franchise anytime soon, that's for sure.
Yeah.
There's still too many variables. It's not, we haven't perfected the thing. Last 3 weeks ago, middle of July, I took a week off to go work on 2020, and then came back, and my fiance's father died. And then 3 days later, our condo burned down. So it's been 3 weeks I've been away.
Oh my god.
And so, but the thing keeps running. So it's it's okay,
That's
but
really
it's
good.
not quite perfect.
Yeah.
But it's not as bad. I thought coming back in, this has kind of been last Wednesday was kind of my first day back. But I was I thought I'd be coming into a train wreck, and I was pleasantly surprised. I was wow, it's place isn't burned down. This still works.
That's awesome. That is actually a huge indicator of a successful business, is if you can leave it alone and it runs without you. That is
Yeah.
Huge.
That's a pillar. That's awesome.
That's a pillar.
And it's the first time ever in my life that it's I've stepped away from something and then came back, and it was oh, the wheel is still spinning.
Were you stressed out? On a scale of 1 to 10, how stressed were you being away from your baby?
With everything else going on, I didn't even care.
Oh,
That is a good point.
It's just this became just didn't even matter.
yeah.
So
Wow.
but that was kind of a weird thing too. It was I didn't look at what sales were. I didn't look at anything. I came in to sign checks so people could still get paid, but
Right.
I was
Yeah.
I'm in and out.
Gosh.
But
That's crazy.
yeah,
Wow.
it's kind of changed the way I'm looking at things too. And it's funny, I was reading a book called Essentialism. It's basically cut all the crap out of your life and only do what's the most important to get to your goal. And so it's kind of been oh wow, I've been forced into practicing that.
Yeah. So what is essential to you to hit your goal?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not through the book. Need to articulate that.
I'm really interpreting.
You mean
it.
as measured by what? I got to figure that out.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's what Hannah and I have just spent the last kind of 3 or 4 weeks on. There's a book over there under that bag called the 4 Disciplines. You can grab it if you want. The 4 Disciplines of Execution. And it's basically Yeah. It's the densest, heaviest book I've ever read in my life. But, like, focus on your wildly important goal. You need lead measures that you can, like, that are like a lever to your lagging measures. So, like, net income and sales are a lagging measure. Like, you really can't do anything about those.
Yeah.
Right.
But, like, what I can do is I can, have the kids try to upsell to customers 2 times per group. Like, that can affect, like, the ticket, down the line. So we can measure that. And if they're doing that, then, like, it should affect income, right? And then the third one is keeping a scoreboard so we can see where we are, like, in a time period that we can, like, make adjustments. So, like, if this week they only did, like, 3 upsells on the line and we didn't reach our goal, it's like, okay, we probably need to do, like, 10 this week.
Yeah.
Those aren't real numbers, but...
Right, but, like, in theory, yeah.
In theory.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, like, small measurements that we can see what's happening. And then the last one is just an accountability, like a weekly accountability meeting. Like, this is what I'm going to do to move us forward. Like, very simply, like, I'm going to go, like Hannah's example would be like, I'm going to go train the kids on how to upsell correctly without upsetting the customer.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's all she has to do this week for this. So, and then it keeps the daily stuff of, like, I can't come into my shift and I can't do this, that, and the other thing out of moving forward.
Right.
So what do you think would be one of the biggest factors or the biggest pieces in making it successful? Is it your employees? Is it your product? Like, what is your labeling of what's the most important to keep your people vested, to keep running when you're not here? What is your biggest top priority?
Product is the main one. You can only market a bad product for so long, and then people will figure it out. You can have a great product. You can always get new people, fix them. People are assets, but still, sometimes you have to change your people out. Really it all revolves around the product. You can have everything else perfect and have a terrible product. Like,
Yeah.
Like, I hate to throw Arby's under the bus, but, like, look at Arby's. Like,
Throw them under the bus.
yeah. Like, I mean, Arby's has got it down. Like, they have all the systems in place. Like, they've got the right price. They've got everything. And, like, did we go to Arby's? No.
I hate Arby's.
Yeah.
Their curly fries are pretty good.
Or like, I guess a better example is, like, where would you rather go? KFC or Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A every day.
It's the same price. The food's a little bit better. Yeah. And then just top it off with great employees. So
Yeah.
if the product's good and then you just get everything else right, it only gets better.
Yeah. So when you started, like, how would you describe your start? Was it like, I started in this little thing, I went and got a loan from the bank? Like, how did you get Legendary to become Legendary? Like, what is your steps as someone who's starting a business? You got to get the funding, you got to have the idea, you got to do this. Like,
For our entrepreneurs out there.
Yeah.
Starting is the easiest thing, honestly. It seems really hard, but, like, once you get going, like, I was surprised that, like, I was like, man, starting is so hard, like, because you're kind of, like, blind in a way. You don't know where to go, and you kind of are like, I've got this, like, goal at the end of the tunnel, but really don't know the ways to get there, and so you're trying to figure it out. Write a business plan. Like, that's the first thing I did was, like, what are we gonna do? Do a ton of research. Like, one of the things we did before the ice cream shop, we went to every ice cream shop in Atlanta, Nashville, Savannah, Georgia, and Charleston, South Carolina. So and Louisville.
Yeah.
We, like, took a vacation and we're like, and then we did, like, top 5 things we think this ice cream shop does well and 5 things we think they can improve on. Even if it was, like, the worst ice cream shop we'd ever seen, like, what are 5 things they're doing well? Like, even though it's hard, like, it's really, it's, like, hard to find. Like, you go to a competitor's place and you're like, what are they doing well? You just want to hate on them, but like, they're doing something well if they exist.
Exactly.
So that's what we did. A lot of research.
That is.
And then,
research is key.
and then, you got to figure out your money, and then, advisors. That's the main thing. Like,
That's what was going to be my next question.
yeah.
Talk to us about that.
You can't do it alone. There's no doing it alone.
You can't.
you need a contact list a dang mile long, and I reach out to, I don't know, I'm lucky I have a lot of people.
Yeah.
And my dad was in business for a while, and so occasionally I'm like, God, I can't get this figured out, and he's like, all right, well, like, let me try this guy, or whatever. And so that's nice to have that
Right.
as well.
Nice. That's cool.
So what's like the hot new back to like ice cream fun talk?
Yeah.
What's like a fun new like flavor that you guys are like trying to? Do you try to do like seasonal or like
we try and do
something?
monthly.
Okay.
Okay.
Monthly.
So
Amazing.
when does the podcast come out?
So it'll come out Thursday. So
Okay.
it'll be the 20th
Okay.
of August. Yeah, right?
Can you grab that poster for me?
Oh, absolutely. This one right here?
Yes. National Waffle Day.
Oh, snap.
Get
National
out.
Waffle Day on August
Y'all.
24th.
Well, you
Doing
know what
waffle
we're doing.
Sundays, 40% off.
Oh, snap.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Okay.
So come in, get yourself a waffle, get yourself all waffled up.
Okay.
Get
All right.
waffled in Louisville.
Celebrate. Get
August
waffled in.
24th, if you're not there, you're a big loser. We
Yes.
don't like you anymore.
And then
We've
we're gonna
decided.
once we're done with that, we're gonna follow that up with after school special, 10% off
Cute.
shakes and Sundays till 6 p.m.
Nice.
Weekdays.
Smart.
And then we also do like our Taco Tuesday.
Well, the Taco
our-
Tuesday is so cool.
I know, yeah.
Wait, what's
It's-
Taco Tuesday? I don't know about
we
this.
so we roll our own waffle cones here, and I was like, you know what? That looks like a taco, and so I bought one of these,
Yes.
a taco mold, like a hard shell taco mold, and so we just lay it over that, and then we have Taco Tuesday.
That's genius.
Yeah.
So smart.
You're like, yeah, I know, we do it.
I thought it was like really genius when I
It
came
really
up with
was.
it.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It really doesn't fit with kind of our theme because
But it kind of does.
yeah,
But it's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Because it's
It's
like,
like-
obviously like ice cream and like waffles and hello. You can
as
make
much
it
as
fun.
I was just hating on KFC and Yum Brands, we do pull a lot of inspiration from Taco Bell because they come up with some crazy stuff, and we're like, well, let's just try it with ice cream.
Yeah.
Okay, Taco Tuesday, Walking Waffle Wednesday, so you can get like the waffle for I think it's $4. It's been a while since I've looked at the price, but like just take a waffle off, they put it in a piece of tissue paper, and you're on your way. Get an ice cream cone in the other hand, two-fisted eating.
Love it.
Waffle Sunday to go, essentially.
Love it.
Genius.
Yeah, and then what else? Oh, so we do like those kind of things. Those are like our kind of promotions coming up. And the thing I'm most excited about is we're doing a partnership with Jefferson's very small batch bourbon, and we're gonna do for Bourbon Month in September. We're going to do 3 bourbon flavors. Papa Chet, which is a version of our Papa ice cream with their bourbon in it.
Ooh,
So that's bourbon ice cream, pralines, caramel swirl. Then we're going to do a Manhattan flavor, and we're going to use their like Manhattan cocktail mix.
Okay.
So in a chocolate ice cream, chocolate chips, and cherries. And then the last one is... Ooh, yeah, the last one, I forgot about it, but it's really good. The last one's a mouthful. The last one's called the Trifecta, and it's bourbon, candied bacon, s'mores.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
so it's going to be like a bourbon graham cracker ice cream with candied bacon and marshmallows and chocolate chips in it.
cool.
We need
Well,
to have
I'm
a
gonna-
C. Jane sell ice cream.
I'm gonna. Oh, I was about to just talk about eating that ice cream that you just talked about.
I know.
Yeah.
Mix our faves.
And
Mix our
then
faves, absolutely.
blackberry chip.
Yum.
Okay.
Yum.
Yeah.
Nice.
So good.
We're
Gosh, well, that's exciting.
We're going full in on September.
For Bourbon Month.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then of course pumpkin spice later in the month.
Well, right.
Oh yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Gotta get the basic.
Cannot go wrong with
Those
that.
basic
Yeah.
batches.
Yeah, I know, right? Right.
I am absolutely one of them.
The
so
basic AF
Okay,
cone.
yeah.
Got it.
Amy wanted to name the flavor the basic batch.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so good.
That's so
Yeah.
smart. You gotta use it.
You have
Yeah.
to. I
You
love
should.
it.
She was
I
like,
love
"No
that.
one's gonna get it though," and I'm
Oh,
like, "Does it
everyone will
matter?"
get it.
Like we,
People will get it, girl. That's amazing.
Yes,
Yeah.
so smart.
I love it.
So
Awesome.
smart. You guys are very creative.
Yeah. Well, we
We can keep going if you want.
Well, I do have one question.
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
is your biggest inspiration in all of this?
Ooh, that's a good question. I wanna
That's
know.
a really tough question.
I know. It could be multiple because I'm sure there's more than just one, but where is like you've got your inspiration?
You know, like there's, like I have a friend that's like a really close mentor. Like I worked with him, and he's just like Mr. Discipline and like, you know, always getting after it, like 100% on everything he does. You know, he's like a really like low profile guy. So like you see him in public and you just think like you wouldn't even know who he is.
Right.
Like he doesn't even have a LinkedIn. Like, I'm like, how do you get anything done without a LinkedIn?
Right.
But he does. He like crushes, and so he's always helpful for me. Always, he's the one that taught me to read. Like, like I'm dyslexic, so I don't really read. But when I interned with him in college, he was like, "Here's a stack of books that you're gonna read this summer," and I was like, I don't read, bro. And
Oh,
he's
cool.
like, you do now. And so it was like The Go-Giver, Good to Great. Good to Great is like the best book anyone in business can ever read.
It's great.
I need to read it.
It's really
Yeah.
good. Well, it's good
Because
to great.
it only like just read Good to Great is like your like overall like 30,000 foot view of business, and then take each section and just drill down into it, and like everything comes back to Good to Great.
Huh.
And if it doesn't come back to Good to Great, it's probably a garbage book.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Noted.
Nice.
And then some other inspiration, you know, like Dave Thomas that like started. I mean, I'm in the restaurant industry, so like Dave
Yeah.
Thomas that started Wendy's, like read his book. Got Colonel Sanders' book, Life's Been Finger Licking Good. Seriously, the name of it.
That's great.
I love it.
Ray Kroc's Grinding It Out. He started McDonald's.
Okay.
And then, you know, you got guys like that. You know, I'm always trying to, you know, we're neighbors with Havana Rumba, so
Yeah.
Marcos, like always trying to pick his brain.
He's so smart.
Kevin Granger he's not, Kevin's like, yes, he owns 3 restaurants, but he's not a restaurant guy. He's a
business guy.
He's a genius branding guy. Like, I don't know if you know, he came up with Got Milk. That was his campaign.
I did
I
not
didn't
know
know that at all.
Yes. So he is like, he's like marketing guy.
Incredible.
Yes.
And he's right here at our
He's from-
fingertips.
Yes.
Wow.
He's like so smart.
Nice.
Huh. I'll be darned.
Cool. Well, we'll take this like last like couple minutes. We like to use this as like if at the end of a yoga class you just get to do like whatever pose you want for like a couple minutes. If there's like anything that we haven't talked about that you want to hit on, any like random advice that you're like, oh, you know what, this would have been helpful to me if I would have started. So this is like your little platform for like a minute. You can just say whatever you want. Or you can just talk about like a cool TV show you're watching. We don't care.
Yeah, I don't really watch TV. You know, like there's just no time in the
got time
day.
for that.
Nobody's got time for that.
Yeah.
Especially now that I'm homeless.
That does hinder things. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really have anything to. I just do my thing over here.
I love it.
Put your
Absolutely
blinders
love
on
it.
and do your thing.
Yeah.
Put your blinders on, do your thing.
Tell us, like, let me interview you.
Yeah, okay. Do it.
No, I'm fine.
She's like, no, I Jose.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next
Another
time?
show for
Okay.
another day.
Okay.
Awesome. Great. Well, thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
having us on. Everyone, please come to Legendary. For real, it is like
Please do.
the most delicious. They have a location in Holiday Manor, like we said. They also have a location out in Middletown by Havana Rumba. If you're not in Louisville, fly here for Derby. Go to Legendary.
Yes.
I don't know. Do
Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much for
Awesome.
being here.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. And
that
hey,
it?
what's your Instagram?
Oh,
so they
yes.
can find
Oh,
you. We
at-
want
How
everyone to
can we
find
find
you.
you?
At Legendary.
You guys are killing your Insta game.
Liege and like spelled out dairy, like the cow.
Awesome. And we will make sure to tag them in our Instagram post
Awesome.
and in our bio as well, so you can find them.
Handmade in Louisville.
That's
We got free
cool.
stickers now, so at least come get a free sticker.
Absolutely.
I mean, seriously though.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find your guys' page. It's awesome. But yeah, like, rate, review, subscribe, do all the things. Take a picture with their ice cream, tag them.
Send it to us. Make us
Yeah.
glad that we're not with you.
Put it on your story. We'll post it up on ours.
Yeah.
Whoa, what's up? Free marketing for you guys at home.
Yeah. All those influencers out there.
Awesome. And we will see you next week. Bye.